Some oil marketing firms, OMCs, have indicated a marked reduction in fuel prices may not be realized now because of the stabilization levy imposed on petroleum products. This follows concerns that the various OMCs are deliberately or have deliberately failed to reduce prices despite favorable market conditions. George Rafi has the rest of the story.
Some of these firms have told Joy Business that the current cost build-up and reduced margins might make it difficult to adjust prices as quickly as possible in line with current developments on the international market. They also argue that the current taxes on the price build-up, or let's say the various taxes on each litre of product sold, have worsened the situation in terms of reducing prices at the pumps. The National Petroleum Authority last year directed all the oil marketing firms to reintroduce the levy on the products, 12 pesos on petrol and 10 pesos on diesel. The oil marketing firms also argue that the continuous imposition of these levies will not make it prudent to reduce prices now. However, some of them have told Joy Business that if the Ghana cedi continues to appreciate and the global prices also drop, maybe they might revise their notes and we should expect some reduction in 2 weeks' time. Some analysts have also questioned the stance of these oil marketing firms, saying it defeats this whole price deregulation policy of the petroleum sector, where players should automatically review their prices based on market conditions.
Well, so we want to get views of the Institute of Energy Security, IES, on why a deregulated market is becoming difficult for OMCs to review their prices downward significantly, as well as some forward-looking projections that we want to make. And I've been joined in the studio by policy and research analyst of the IES, Raymond Nwoko. Raymond, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, so tell me, what's your view? Because yesterday we spoke with the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, and they seemed to be agreeing with the OMCs because they said they have various other, indicators that also point to the fact that petrol prices may not or should not go down drastically. What's the view of the IES?
Thank you very much. For us to have a very informed conversation, we need to separate the issues. We need to separate the price stabilization recovery levy from the fall on the international market. Per our projection for this particular window that we are in, we realized there was a significant decline in the international benchmark, that's Brent crude. If you also look at our cedi dollar relation, there was an appreciation close to 5%. Exactly. And if we also look at the international price of gasoline and gas oil, there was significant reduction of 10% and 8% for gasoline and gas oil. Now, these are major indicators that should ensure that prices to come down. Because when prices are going up quickly, the OMC shoots prices up like rocket. But when it's time for prices to come down, when there is fall in the international market, then prices begin to drop like they are wearing parachutes.
Well, so they are saying that there are other conditions, there are other factors within the price build-up of the oil and gas sector.
We must know that the price stabilization and recovery levy did not start only in this year. It started far back in 2019, that's July, August, thereabout. So why are they complaining now? Now, one of the reasons for the implementation of the price stabilization and recovery levy is to ensure that the consumer is happy. That's the main reason why they give. So now that they are applying it, then the full import of the application is not realized. But we must know that when prices are going up, the percent that OMCs increase, that's what we are talking about. For example, in December there was an increment. The first quarter and the first quarter of January and the second quarter of January too, there was an increment, about 2%. Now there's a drastic decrease in prices on the international market. We are expecting that the prices to also come down drastically. We are not saying that they don't have argument to be made for the taxes in the price buildup. We're not talking about, we're not saying that they should not make argument for the margins, the levies, and the taxes. They can make argument, but that to be separate from the...
So now that they are not doing it, do you think that the NPA can compel them to actually review their prices?
Of course, they must. Government is the agent of the consumers. They are our agent. They must, and they are the regulator of the industry. They must ensure that the OMCs obey the fundamental of a deregulated market structure and ensures that as prices are coming down with higher percentage, prices must also go down at the local pump with higher percentage. Because when prices are going up, they also skyrocket their prices.
Now, do you think it's time for the removal of some taxes, vis-a-vis, other conditions?
That's why I say it's a conversation we can have another day. Because, for example, the price stabilization and the recovery levy is inside there to help for subsidy for premise fuel and residual fuel. Now, we can have a conversation, how far is that project? What is the benefit? How is the application being done? If you look at it, then we can have a conversation of those taxes and levies should be reduced.
I'm asking this because, we are a net importer of petrol or crude. And for the fact that, prices have dropped significantly on the world market and our city is also appreciating, it means that government may not maximize revenue from crude exports. In that regard, it has to, make up for revenue generation through these taxes downstream.
So when prices are going up, they're making enough revenue. Do they reduce prices? That's the question you must ask. So if prices are going up and they're reducing prices at local pump, then they can make argument that when prices are coming down on the international market, then they will not decrease prices. But if prices are going up, they're increasing prices. And when prices are coming down, they don't want to reduce prices. That's very unfair to the consumer.
Right, so what's your forecast for the next month or forward?
So going to the first quarter of March, the cedi is still doing very well against the dollar. And at this moment, as you know, the COVID-19, that's the coronavirus, is still spreading across Asia, and even now it's in Europe. There is the death,
Spain.
Spain and Italy. The death toll in Italy have increased, and even in Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, and other countries are also facing the same plight. Even the OPEC Plus, they are yet to agree on the cut. They are going to have their meeting in March next week. We are hopeful that maybe they could have a consensus and do some cuts on the oil production so that the supply glut in the system will be taken so that prices will go. But as for the first quarter of March, we don't expect prices to go high because our cedi-dollar relation is very good and prices are still coming down.
So what would you expect OMCs to do?
We expect OMCs to reduce prices at the pump going to
By what margin, for instance?
This window have not ended. By Thursday, IES should be able to calculate and bring it to consumers, as we have been doing, for them to know exactly the margin that is supposed to go down. All
right, so I'll get back to you for your final words. But before then, President of Imani Africa, a policy think tank, says the call for reduction in fuel prices at the pumps, despite the cedi's appreciation, is not feasible as the market is deregulated. In his view, consumers have options to choose from. According to Franklin Kujo, it's not automatic for prices to start going down over factors that are temporal. Let's hear from him.
Decreasing fuel prices.
Well, it's a deregulated market, and I suspect there are reasons why they are not doing so. I don't think there's only one price at the pump. Is there? I think Gold has reduced its prices, hasn't it?
People say it's too meager.
Well, I guess, again, it's a liberalized market, and I think people should take their options. There are other fuel stations that may be selling quite low. I'm not too sure. It's not so automatic at every point in time to be seeing these things pass through. But I'm sure at the right time, these things...
It will be the only fuel pump or company reducing it. People say it's too insignificant. 0.2% is insignificant considering the stability of the city.
Well, then it should be more. You see, let me tell you one thing. The thing not to start jubilating about and start behaving like an Arabian prince is that the fact this appreciation is not going to last. That's the point people need to understand. It's not going to last. So the moment you start jubilating and start acting recklessly, you're going to have X on your face. I think that is the only reason I can give for this. Let's wait for it. Let's study it for a while and see whether the impact can be felt greatly. But if there are noticeable changes, we should...
Also, that was President of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo. So that's what Franklin is saying. It's not going to last. What's your view on that?
So my senior Franklin Kujo should know that the prices, the price build-up is not only about the cedi appreciating. It's also about prices on the international market falling, like gasoline and gas oil and the international benchmark. These have been falling since the beginning of February, and it's continued to fall. Even yesterday, price tumbled by 4% because of the panic that the epidemic will become pandemic. So, and right now at the moment we have not found vaccine for the virus. So these are great factors.
So there's no indication that it's going to move up again soon.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just that it's not going to last. It's already lasting, and there's even fear that it become pandemic. Right. And if prices increase for a particular point in time, they increase up like a rocket. So when it's coming down whether it's going to last or it's not going to last,
it must go down
for the consumers to be happy.
Thank you very much. That was Raymond Nuwako. He's a policy and researcher at the Institute of Energy Security.